Hello everyone, welcome to my tech video tutorial on converting PDF files into editable online worksheets using Google Slides. My name is Lisette and I'm a recent graduate from the Single Subject program in math at Cal Poly. So I'm going to first just start off with an overview of editable online worksheets. So especially this year during our distance year of learning, editable worksheets are going to be the new version of making copies. So paper is slowly and more being phased out of classrooms, and this year this is going to be especially pertinent. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you know there's a great worksheet out there that you love and always have the students do, don't be sad because there's still a way for you to put it out there online for the students to complete. That's going to be this tutorial is going to be a great resource for you to access and learn how to do, so that you can still put out that really great content and material that you're always used to having in in-person classes. So something else that's really cool about using Google Slides to do this is if you are a Google Classroom district, you can assign this to students and you can click the Make a Copy for Each Student feature. And so what that does is it makes an individual copy for each student. That way there are no two students sharing one of these documents where they can go in and delete the other person's work, or maybe have two versions of work, two copies of the work going on. So each student has their own. It's like you working on their own worksheet. Something else that is really cool that you could do through these editable worksheets is that if you have a piece of media you want the students to access before completing the worksheet, is that you can hyperlink that right onto the worksheet, right onto the document that you're going to put out to them as well. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that within this Google Slides. So now I'm just going to give you a short little example as how to do this and how I'm thinking of doing this in my math classroom this fall semester. So my school district last year just implemented new math curriculum for Algebra 1. They transferred over to College Preparatory Mathematics, or CPM for short, which is a textbook and curriculum that aligns to the Common Core State Standards for math that was adopted a few years back. And so this was their first year aligning with those new standards for Algebra 1. And College Preparatory Mathematics, CPM, is pretty student-driven curriculum. Students are always collaborating together, working on really rich tasks, really higher order thinking tasks. And this is all in their textbook, and sometimes those problems are very dense and there are parts A through F for them to get through, and it's quite overwhelming for them, for our students sometimes. And so the way that the teachers implemented these types of questions and problems into the classroom last year was that they made these graphic organizers. So they took the problem and sort of scaffolded even further into a graphic organizer. So all parts of the problem were still present. They were just outlined a little bit more and scaffolded a little more. So going into this year, it was a little bit sad to think that this might not even be able to happen, in a virtual classroom. But using this technology and this feature in Google Slides and knowing how to do this, also in using Zoom breakout rooms, tasks like this are still accessible to students. So that's going to be something I am looking forward to trying and implementing in my classroom this year. So this is also really useful across all subject areas and all grade levels, no matter elementary. Maybe you're having them give another example for what have you. I'm blanking right now, but I think it's really useful for all subject areas and all grade levels to use and to know how to do this. So right now, I'm going to take you through an example of how to do this, and I've outlined the steps here for you. So the first thing that we actually need to do is just create a new Google Slides presentation for the worksheet that you want to convert to an editable version. And so what I'm actually going to show you, I'm going to show you using this graphic organizer. So I've actually hyperlinked a new Google Slides presentation. So here's my blank presentation. I'm going to wait for my computer to load a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's our first step. Create a new Google Slides for the worksheet that you are converting. The next thing that we need to do, we need to take a screenshot or a snip, depending on your operating system, of that worksheet. So here's that PyPhone Sweeps the Nation. This is our PDF file of this blank worksheet. So I'm going to screenshot this from corner to corner and do my best to get pretty much the whole thing from corner to corner. And that looks good. There, you can see it popped up there. So now I'm going to go back to my blank presentation. So we've created the presentation, taken a screenshot of that organizer or worksheet. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to change the size of this presentation slide. So I need to change it to fit the size of a regular piece of paper. So I'm going to go to File, and then I hit Page Setup. My computer blanked out a little bit, but I hit Page Setup. I'm going to click the drop-down menu and click Custom. So down here, I'm going to change it to the size of a regular piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. Right now, I'm doing 11 by 8.5 because my, if you saw, my worksheet was in landscape mode. So that's why I'm doing 8.5 by 11. If yours is portrait mode, then do 8.5 by 11, not 11 by 8.5. So there you can see the size of our slide changed quite a bit. Now it looks like it looks like a small version, but it's a regular piece of paper. So now we're ready to import that image, that screenshot that we just took. What we're going to do is we're going to import it to the background of the slide. So I'm going to click this button on the menu bar, Background. Then I'm going to go to Choose Image, and I need to go find that screenshot that I just took. So I'm going to browse because I know it was saved to my computer. So there we can see screenshot today at 8:05 p.m. I'm going to do that right now. Great, so you can see it just loaded back there in the background. So that looks good. I'm going to press Done. So what this does is it allows your students to not even mess with the background. You don't want them to move around the image at all. The background is now permanent. It cannot be moved. Nothing can be messed with this background. So now we're on our last step. This is creating the editable slots. So wherever I see somewhere where my students should be writing, I need to then go create a text box, insert a new text box, and put a text box around where they should be filling in information or typing. So I'm going to say type here. So I'm signaling my students where they should be typing. I'm going to change the font. That way their attention is directed to these areas. So again, I need my students to fill in something here. So I need to put a text box there. So I'm going to insert a text box. I'm going to draw the text box for them, however big you want to make it. And again, I'm going to change the color of my font to red so their attention is drawn to wherever they need to fill in the text boxes, excuse me. So again, over here, there's a table where they need to insert numbers. So I'm creating a text box, and this time I'm going to still use red so their attention is drawn, and I'm just going to put the pound symbol, signaling that they need to put a number there. And so a short trick, just so you don't have to keep inserting text boxes and drawing them yourselves, is you can just Control Copy, then click out of it and Control Paste, and the same text box will show up. So I'm just going to Control Paste again and the same thing showed up. So I don't have to keep, it's just a shortcut to be able to keep creating these text boxes where students need to fill in. Okay, so that's enough for right there. I'm not going to keep going down the way just to save on some time. So you'll notice that there are a few different graphs on this worksheet. And so I want to draw your attention to this button here. So you can insert a line, but what's really cool is that students can select the scribble feature and draw. So let's say I'm forgetting exactly where this fell in our class, but I think this had to do with exponential functions. So let's say that the student eventually had to draw the graph of an exponential function. They could go to the line button and select scribble and draw a rough sketch of the graph. So that's exactly what I did there. So they can still draw. Let's say I'm just going to do for fun, I'm just going to show you that you can draw a smiley face. So this is a really cool feature. The scribble feature allows your students to draw on graphs or wherever they might need to draw something other than type. So that's a really great feature of Google Slides as well. The last thing I want to show you is how to hyperlink a video. So let's say I need my students to watch a Khan Academy video before completing this performance task. So I'm going to say watch the video here before beginning. I'm just going to move it up a little bit. So for the word here, this is where I want them to click. So I'm going to highlight here for right now. Now, I have this Khan Academy video already loaded. So I need to copy the URL. So I'm going to hit Control Copy. And I'm going to go back into my organizer, my slide. And with the here word highlighted, I'm going to click this button that says Insert Link. So then I'm going to paste the link that I've copied, and apply it. So when they click this link, it's going to take them right to the video I want them to see before they complete this task. So that way it's just supplemental. They have a refresher of what this task is about. And there we go. My computer's a little bit slow this evening, but there they go. It's the video I want them to watch. Right now it says graphing inequalities, which is probably not what I want them to watch when we're talking about exponential functions, but this was just to show you how to do that. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to this tech video tutorial on behalf of the School of Education at Cal Poly.